What's going on, everybody? Andy Waddell with Form Films. Welcome back to Grade in 10, where I will attempt to show you my approach to grade a shot in about 10 minutes. Although it's hard to do that when you're talking and doing it at the same time, so it usually goes like 14, 15 minutes. Bear with me, it's still going to be awesome. So today we're going to tackle a shot from a masterclass where we have a talking head doing a bunch of educational content, and this is the wide shot. And I want to show you how I'm going to make this host pop out of the background. Let's get started. All right, this is where we're going to end up, but this is where we start. Skadoosh. Shot on Blackmagic RAW camera. I think it's one of the pockets or maybe an Ursa Mini. I'm not really sure. This was handed to us, and our job is to make her pop. So we're going to do it with this node tree right here. Not too complicated. Let's get it going. Delete the nodes. Enable color. And now let's get it kicked off with some exposure adjustment. All right, I am going to broad stroke with curves this exposure adjustment. It's a little bit hard to tell what I'm doing until I get some contrast in there, but we're working in color DaVinci Wire GB color space instead of color managed because I just want to build the look of this footage from scratch. I don't want to use LUTs. I don't want to use the other color space because it actually kind of crushes everything down because of the way it was shot. So in this case, I just really want to play with this from the rawness up. Sometimes you got to throw yourself a little bit of a challenge to make you appreciate life. All right, we're going to crank sat to about 85. Not worried about those red chairs, maybe 90. Looking more at kind of what's happening with this blended color palette from cooler colors to warmer colors and her skin and the table. So we'll deal with these chairs later. Let's make a primary node. I'm going to grab my offset and I'm just going to balance out a little bit. Trying to feel out where I need to go with this. It's tricky because there is a cooler tone on the left side of the frame than the right. So I really just kind of want to look at her skin and see if I can balance out these let's see, it's hard to talk and do. Okay, right in there. Very subtle. It's a touch warmer. I like what it's doing to her shirt. This is off. A tad bit too cool. I want to push it. Excuse me, that's off. I had my off and ons backwards. Okay, so I'm pushing it just a touch warmer. We're going to come back and tackle everything in detail. This is just to get us broad strokes on the way. So let's make some parallels. I'm going to do her skin. I want to tackle her shirt separate, and I want to isolate the top of her noggin and take care of some color cast on her hair. So let's dive right in with this one. Let's go to our 3D qualifier. I'm going to begin grabbing her skin tone and see what I can do. This is going to be challenging not to grab everything on this back panel and the table, so it might take you a few clicks to kind of get the optimal grab. And honestly, when I did this earlier, I ended up masking a lot more just to kind of fully isolate her. But we still may have to do that because I want to get these fingers, and that might grab too much stuff. Actually, that wasn't terrible. It's okay. Yeah, not bad. I got a little bit right there. Let's see what we can do. This is working our clips and clean black and such. Okay, not bad at all, but let's throw a mask. She's teaching. She's sitting basically still, not moving around a lot. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of isolate her noggin. And then I'm going to add another circle power window just to kind of handle anything she does in front of her in terms of putting her hands on the table or whatever. Okay, coming back to here, let's see what we've got going on. I'm going to open up effects. Oh, I noticed on one of my prior videos that it's hard to read these nodes when they're so small. I apologize. So I'm going to actually pull them up, make them a little bigger, and I'm going to layer them out a little bit more for you. Okay, let's jump back to here. I'm going to drop color compressor on it. As you know, it's my favorite thing to bring a little more unity to the skin tone. And she is inheriting some purpley magenta-y kind of stuff from somewhere. And I'm not totally sure where it's from. One of these light sources just feels like it might be a touch out of temperature with the others, or she's picking up something bouncing, you know, in the ambient that we can't see off camera. Let me just kind of physically pull this back over, make it a little brighter. We'll start there, see what we get. I'm gonna push the hue compression and the saturation compression up. And I'm gonna go ahead and flip my scopes to vector, and I wanna solo this up and see what I've got. Okay, she's right on the skin tone line. Let me just give her a touch more saturation, and I'm gonna use an offset, just kind of pull it over a little bit. Let's see what that's doing for us. I don't want her to look pasty, but I want her to feel not purple. So playing with the hue and just playing with how much I'm saturating and pushing that in her skin. I'm going to leave it right there. That's looking pretty good. Now I might, let's see if I can bring it up a little bit, make her just a touch hotter. Sorry, brighter. You know what I meant. Making the brights, the highs a little bit hotter, the darks a little darker. You know what I meant. Okay, just a touch right there. Okay, I like that. That's feeling pretty good. And if I solo this, you can see that she is right on the skin tone line, so we're feeling pretty zesty about that. Okay, this shirt, like I said at the beginning, we're gonna make her pop in this teaching content. Part of that is gonna be this shirt. Super simple grab with the 3D qualifier. I'll do some clean black a little bit, but I'm actually just going to end up masking most of this to get it really clean. See if I can get a little bit more right there. Okay. A little bit of denoise, a little blur, clean black. Let's drop a mask over her. I don't mind too much if some of that background stuff gets caught. We just don't want a lot of it, frankly. All right, that's pretty good. So all I want to do on this shirt right now is just desat it about 20%. Then I'm going to find kind of the low mids, and I'm just going to crush it. I want to maintain the texture in the lighter portions. I don't want to lose the texture, but I want to make sure that we're getting just a little more contrast on it. Really makes her hair, see when it's like that, her hair kind of gets lost. But if I can pull it down just a little bit, I can make her hair pop. Okay, let's leave it there for now. Let's jump to hair. Speaking of hair. Okay, I see some overhead frame left light that's hitting this right here. I think there's a big light over here. And it's creating a grayness on the top of her head. You can see it right there. And then, you know, as her hair falls down, it's browner. I don't know what's going on, but I want to make this part of her hair look like this part of her hair. So I'm going to just try with my 3D qualifier, if I can, do it again, because I did this earlier. Let's see if I can do it twice. Probably not. It's not bad. I'm going to isolate out as much as I can there. We'll mask that as well. Let me see if I can subtract this. Ooh, nice. How about that? Ooh, nice again. I'm gonna do that and do it twice. Nope, that was not gonna work. That works. And that. Okay, not bad. so let's throw color compressor on that, and let's tell it to make it look more like that. And now we'll compress the hue and the sat. There we go. No, a little too light. I want to make it darker still. Okay. Nice. So if I toggle that off, on, you can really see what's happening. It's like she just has this blue or gray light cast right here, and then pop. Now it's kind of blending in. I'm going to make it even a wee bit darker. Just a little bit of color. Now let's go to curves and see if we can just kind of pull it down. Put a little more contrast in it. There we go. Maybe we'll saturate just a touch. Nice. Okay, so let's toggle all of her on and off. So this is with just exposure, saturation, and primaries. And now we're going to address her hair, her skin, and her shirt. Kaboom. Okay, already feeling zesty. And by zesty, I mean zesty. Okay, let's hit these red chairs on this node. I'm going to use, it's throwing me off of these giant nodes. Sorry, I'm going to pull them back just a little. I will work on finding the optimal size for my nodes for video capture, but if you're watching in 4K, it's probably super easy to see. All right, reset. Going to go to 3D qualifier. I'm going to grab this red, stinking hot, bright chair, and see if I can grab that over there. Okay, good. That wasn't too bad. I'll probably mask it off so it's not hitting the table with the selection. If it becomes an issue, it may not, because what I'm going to do is essentially just pull down the brightness. Yeah, I'll mask that. Okay, let's throw a square power window on, something like this. Lift it up above the edge of the table, tighten up that feathering, and then let's come back here and see if we can get this a little bit more. Okay. Now what's funny is I'm picking up her lips a little bit, which actually might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise if we end up highlighting her lipstick. I don't know if that's going to work out. That's a total happy accident if it works out. And if it doesn't, we can always just crop down under her. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, she looks a little, yeah, we're going to pull it down right above the couch. Okay. So let's see what this looks like if I turn it off, on. Yeah, way better. Way better. I mean, just her hand here, like it's challenged by the ratio of the brightness of the red couch. And if I kick that back just a little bit, maybe not that much, but a little bit, it just helps make her more important. Okay. Moving on, let's address this table. I'm excited to do the table. It's super easy because it's a big square. Essentially just going to put corners. And I'll adjust the feathering on top so that we're pretty tight on the wood. We need to be careful not to get her hands at all. Actually, I might turn this off at the moment. And I want to make sure I don't get her hands, because when she puts her hands in front of the table, I do not want to be eliminating the color on her hands. I mean, I don't want to counteract the work we've done on her hands with color. And I am crushing the snot out of this, and I really don't care because it's a wood top. I'm going to do some fun I'm going to do some fun warming up on it, so it doesn't really matter to me. I think that's going to work. Okay, I'm just going to roll my highs and highlights right here just a little warmer, and then I'm going to hit the mids right here. Roll them just a little warmer. Gotta make the table just a touch brighter, actually. Okay, now let's turn that off. Let's audition this. Off, on, off, on. Yeah, like that. Now that table's rich. Now, bringing it up a little bit, I guess you could say competes with her, but it's such a nice tone, a nice warm tone. I want to use it. All right, next up, let's do, okay, so we've got this practical lamp in the corner, and this shot's zoomed in a little bit. Honestly, if I pulled out, you'd see it. You can see a little more of the room, but we start to lose square in terms of the these vertical frames on the sides. So I pushed in enough where it just kind of glimpses at it. I'm going to make this glow because I want it, if it's going to be in the shot, I want it to have a reason to be there and not just be a white spot. So I'm going to come in here, put a little glow love on this light, and then dial it way back. And I want to watch this hot spot right there on the wall right here. Okay, just going to dial this up enough just to give me a sense of it. Oops. And then I'm going to tighten this up so I don't get that annoying, distracting hot spot on the wall right there. Okay, cool. Let's keep moving. Earlier I had a contrast here, and I'm trying to remember why, actually. I think I just overall wanted to slightly tighten up the bottom end of the image, just a shade. And pop it all a little bit more. Okay, that works. All right, let's add 1, 2, 3 more nodes. I'm going to go to the end here. I'm going to drop sharpening on. I always like to sharpen at the end. Drop that down. Look at how that pops her eyes and her eyelashes. It looks fantastic. Love it. Okay, I'm going to put a vignette on this shot. I feel like I've done a lot of vignettes lately. That's not a crutch. I really try to use it, minimally. But I do feel like I've used it a lot lately. What I want to do is go ahead and crank that up to 1, and I want to move the center spot up more to her face. Then I'm going to soften it out and make it a little more round, a little less anamorphic. And then I'm going to balance it out to about 60%. Okay, so let's toggle that on and off. Off, on. Yeah, look how that pushes my eye in. Now, okay, I guess I'm counteracting my brighter table, but by brightening the table and then putting this vignette, pushing my eye up, now the table kind of falls back in line where it needs to be. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Okay, so before that, we're going to work backwards here. I'm going to put a lab node, and I'm going to pull this down, color space lab CIE. I'm going to come over to my shadows, and I'm going to just drop, let's say about -8.5. Okay, a little too much. -7.5. Okay, boom. I'm going to come back up here, check my skin tone on the vector scope. Still liking that. I'm going to push her skin tone saturation to 55. And on my lab node, I'm going to do 1.5 on the highlights, which will put a little bit more warmth in the highs, pulls the warmth out of the shadows. I can audition that off, on. Just takes that overall kind of reddish orange glow and really tightens up everything. That is kind of it. I'm going to hit the shirt again, pull the contrast down just a touch. I'm going to pull the extra lift on the top end of her skin down just a touch. I want her skin to stay soft. I don't want any really hot spots like the way this little highlight there and the little cheek highlight work. Her hands, her neck, her face, all pretty much match thanks to our color compressor. Really like what that's doing. So let's walk it through from the top real quick. Exposure. Okay, so we're starting in color wire RGB space. This is Blackmagic Raw. This is how it came in off the camera. Just going to do some exposure work. Broad brush strokes. Saturation. I want to go a little bit further than I might want it just to see what I got. Now I'm going to do my primaries. I'm just going to roll the image. Overall, I rolled the whole thing a little warmer. Now I'm going to tackle her skin with the 3D qualifier. Her shirt, darken it up. And then her hair, we're just fixing up here where her hair had this white gray cast from the light. We're going to bring it back down. Okay, next up, red chairs. Pull those suckers back. Table, pop that, make it a little warmer. Lamp glow, ka-ching. If that lamp's going to be in the shot, I want to know why it's there. It's there to provide an interesting look. Okay, next, contrast. A little bit of contrast, kind of make her punch. Okay, working backwards, sharpening. My vignette, which makes her pop even a little bit more. It's lifted up a little bit. It pushes your eye from the bottom of the frame up to her face. And finally, lab is going to tighten up the low end. Skadoosh. And there you have it. All right. Super excited about the way this one turned out. I think it's really cool looking. And it's great to have content that's focusing your eye on the talent when they're teaching. You really don't want distractions. Beautiful set's great, but you want to pull them out of it so that you just focus on what they're teaching you. So thanks for joining me. Stay tuned until next time when we do another exciting clip and another exciting shot. More grading to come. Have a great day.